So, I have decided to do another vlog today. I did one recently and you guys seem to like it. I've had a few comments on my Instagram and on my YouTube and stuff like that about Vlogmas this year, which is not happening. The main reason for that is because in my flat, the internet is absolutely terrible. So it takes about 3 hours to upload a video, and during those 3 hours I can't use any other internet, so I can't watch TV or anything like that. So it's just too tricky, but I'm going to be vlogging today. Today me and my boyfriend are going to put up the Christmas tree in the flat, and it's my first ever Christmas tree. So the main thing I need to do is get the flat completely tidied and organised before the tree goes up. So that is the main objective of today. I'm not going to be putting the tree up or doing anything like that until he's home from work. I think he finishes about 5, so he should be here about 6ish. But he said that I'm not even allowed to do anything at all until he's here. So I'm going to keep the tree in the box until he's here, because he said he will be very upset if anything happens to the tree before he's here. I do have an advent calendar this year, which my mother bought me. It's a Heroes one. Let's open. I've actually got 4 doors to open. So the first one, classic, just a dairy milk. There it is. Oh, little fudge. Glorious. Number 3, a caramel. And number 4, I believe it is the 4th today, a twirl. Fabulous. I've decided I'm going to go across the road and get myself a wee coffee, because I thought to power through today, because there is a lot of mess around. It was my boyfriend's birthday at the weekend, so there's loads of balloons hanging about, there's loads of like stuff that needs to just be sorted. I'm sure a lot of you can relate that when things get busy, your flat or home gets messy. Touch wood, I've been doing pretty well with anxiety recently. I've not had a panic attack in, God, well, about a week, maybe a bit more, but the past few days I've been doing quite a lot and still no panic has come. I think that's because I've been taking it slow, been taking it a day at a time, not forcing myself into things, and also not been pressuring myself to do things that I don't really want to do. A massive thing that I've noticed with my anxiety, this looks really stupid. A massive thing I've noticed with my anxiety is that I force myself to do things a lot. I kind of go, right, in order to get better I have to do this, this and this, which some may call exposure therapy, which is definitely good in certain amounts, but there's a certain limit, and exposure therapy is only good when you're doing it when you feel able to, and you're doing it in small amounts. So I've been talking back with my counsellor recently, and we've kind of been talking about loads of different things, and it's been so good, and I've kind of just been realising I shouldn't be doing things that I don't feel ready to do, and in time I will be ready to do them. I just need to kind of have faith in that. So yeah, I've been doing little bits and bobs and been doing really well. So touch wood, things have been going quite well. But because everything's been so busy and I've been trying to chill, my flat's become a bit messy. So gonna clean that up. Gonna pop some balloons, which is fucking terrifying, and go and get a coffee. So I went out, got my coffee. Before I start cleaning, which I'm going to do like right now, I thought I would show you the reality of what I mean by untidy. I think I quite like watching cleaning videos on YouTube. Don't know if you guys, any of you guys feel the same way. I know a couple of you have said that you like watching cleaning videos as well. Kind of motivates you to get stuff done. But in those videos, there's always people that are like, oh, my house is such a mess, and it's not, it's really not. And I think that it just shows a false reality, or maybe that is messy for them. That's absolutely fine, you know, I'm not judging people's cleanliness. When we say my house is so untidy, I mean my house is really untidy, and this is the reality for a lot of busy people, for a lot of people with mental health illnesses, people with children. This is what it's like, or people that are just messy. This is actually not the worst it's ever been. It's definitely been worse than this, but I thought I'd show you I mean messy. So starting with the floor right under me, here's some empty biscuits, some wrapping paper from Drew's birthday, Costa from yesterday, plate, some wool, my advent calendar. Everything's just a bit of a mess. Look at all the balloons and just stuff on the floor. And then the kitchen is probably the worst at the moment. These are all the plates. Yep. And just stuff all out. 2 empty milk cartons. The bathroom's actually okay. The bedroom is actually not as bad. Believe it or not, I cleaned this yesterday. The bed just needs to be made and stuff like that. Just think we need to bring back some realness. There's been a big cleaning fad with Mrs. Hinch and the Organised Mum, and loads of people on Instagram talking about cleaning and talking about cleaning and mental health and all that kind of stuff, which I think is fantastic. I think cleaning has definitely helped my mental health recently. It's something productive that you do. It's something that for a lot of us that are either housebound or that don't work, it's something very productive that we're doing for ourselves. I think it just fills the day with good stuff. However, I think a lot of us are getting quite caught up on it and are starting to feel really guilty when our house is a mess. What I've just showed you, is it when it's not that bad. This is it when I'm kind of vaguely keeping on top of things. It's been a lot worse than this, definitely a lot worse. When I first moved into my flat, it was just a state all the time. And this is what mental health is like, and this is what being busy is like, and this is what having children's like. I don't have children, I don't have an excuse, but I don't need an excuse. My house is messy sometimes, and all over Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, it's just a lot of clean houses being cleaned, and I just think that's not really what it's like. And I feel like a lot of people will look at that and be like, oh my god, that's their house messy, my house is an absolute state, and they'll feel bad and they'll feel guilty and they'll feel like they're not doing enough, and that's just not what it's like. You don't have to have a perfect house. I think there's a certain level of cleanliness that people should try and do. Sometimes that's not possible and you're not going to die from having an untidy house. However, I would quite like to get cleaned today, so that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully this gives you a little bit of motivation to do a little bit of cleaning if you can.
Look through the window facing west towards the sea. You with your hands across your chest facing me. Sing me a song, your voice is like silver, and I don't think that I can do this anymore.
Okay, it's time to pop the balloons. Honestly, I'm really scared. I hate when balloons pop. I hate it. It freaks me out. But I'm gonna have to just do this. Oh fuck, I can't. Ah! Oh, it's not that bad. Oh god. He's not getting balloons for his birthday next year, I tell you that. Oh my god. Stay. I can't even pop balloons. Imagine being like a butcher or something. Jesus. Okay, that's the worst job done. You might be wondering why my finger is in a glass of water and why this angle is so terrible. Well, I just had an extraordinary 5 minutes. I luckily I nipped off to the shop to get some mayonnaise for my tuna pasta that I just made, and I kept my candles on, but luckily when I came back they were fine. But I was just making my pasta, just doing some things, was sitting here, started eating the pasta, had my head down looking at it, just like eating it, and then the fire alarm went off, which has never gone off the whole time I've lived here. The fire alarm started going off and it was very, very loud. And I looked up and there was a massive fire on my coffee table. I lit some candles earlier, as you saw in the glorious montage. The match like broke off and landed in the candle, and I thought that was okay. Some of you might be being like, of course that's not okay, Emily. But I didn't know that it wasn't okay, so I just left it burning, and if you didn't know, it can catch fire, and there was a massive fire on my coffee table. I've never been in that situation before, so stupidly I tried to pick up the candle that was on fire and obviously burnt my finger, and then I had to run to the kitchen, pour a glass of water and like chuck it over it. It was literally, oh god. What? Oh. I just texted my boyfriend and said if we ever get a house we really need to get some form of really insane insurance, because I am the clumsiest person. I don't even know how many times I've burnt myself, I've tripped. I'm the most clumsy person. This water is actually turning warm from how warm my finger is as well. It's actually quite a nasty burn. I don't know if you can see it, but it's not good. Big massive blister there now. Moral of the story, don't do that. I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is I had an IBS flare up earlier, so that's why I've not vlogged in a few hours. The good news is I usually when that happens have to take some form of Valium or go back home to my mum and dad's, because I get really anxious about it. Because when you get IBS you feel a bit ill, just feel awful, and so that usually sets off my panic attacks. But I managed to just lie on the sofa and just chill, watch Call the Midwife, have a jolly old time. Didn't have to phone anybody and didn't have to take Valium, so go me. Drew's on his way round, so the next clip you will see will be me putting up my Christmas tree. Start from the bottom.
Now we're here.
I know you can do that.
No, start from the top.
Definitely start from the bottom, trust me.
Then I finish on that and plug it in.
Do you what? Yeah, 100%.
Drove to Chicago. All things know. We sold our clothes to the state. I don't mind. I made a lot of mistakes in my mind. You came to take us. All things go to recreate us. All things go.
Just unraveling. That's another one. Such a tiny. Oh, does it look okay?
Yeah, that's really good, yeah. What to do is bend the thing in half, bend the branch in half. Yeah.
Oh,
fucking engineering in its fucking finest. Yes! I mean, it's still a bit bent, but oh, there we go. Yeah.
Does it look good?
It's looking really good. I love all the wee bubbles.
Can you tell it's my tree?
Yeah.
Is that your fave?
That's definitely my fave. That's well
I
nice.
think Jesus would have liked it.
Ah, totally. Bam.